Hi Year 3, welcome to your maths video for Tuesday the 26th of January. So this is a video for you if you've got the Year 3 maths booklet. So today we're going to be completing page 12 in our booklets, which has got exercise 12 at the top. So before we begin and get racing off, we're going to do some of our warm-up challenges that you'll find in your startup challenge. Have a look at those and see what our learning question is for today. So today, you're applying your mathematical knowledge to a range of questions. Now this is what you've already been doing Year 3. You've been using your knowledge of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division to solve lots of different maths questions, some word problems, some two-step problems, simple calculations like these. So let's have a go at warming up, ready for our startup challenge. So on your startup challenge, you've got questions that are similar to these using the 4 operations, okay? Well, we've got some missing boxes, so we're going to really need to use those numbers and read the question carefully. I've got 6 add something equals 343. Now, if I add 6 to 343 and I use the numbers that way, because I can see an addition there, the number I get to put here is going to be much bigger than my answer. Now, we know that doesn't make sense because in an addition, the answer is the biggest number, not these two numbers here, okay? Because when we add two numbers together, the answer should get bigger, okay? So I'm not going to add these two numbers. I'm going to do the opposite operation, the inverse to addition. Oh, what's the opposite operation to addition? Subtraction. Well done if you said that. And I'm going to subtract these two numbers. So I'm going to cover over the hundreds because I know that they're not going to change, and I'm going to make it easier and do 43 subtract 6 ones, okay? And I can put my hundreds back on after, we can't forget them. So can you count with me? So 43 in our head, so let's take away 6. So 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37. I can pop those hundreds back on, 337. Now remember, you can always check your calculations make sense after to make sure we're not getting them wrong. So now I can do 6 add 337. And if I cover over those hundreds again to make it easier, I'm going to do 37 add 6 and see if I get this answer here. So 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 343, we know we've got it correct. We've used the inverse operations. Right, another similar question, you've got some divisions. We've got 32 divided by something equals 4. Now, what I can do with this one, I can use my knowledge of the 4 times tables. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many 4s are in 32. And that will give me my missing answer here. So can you count in your 4 times table with me to 32? Are you ready? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. That's 8 times 4, okay? So 8 is my missing number there. Remember, if we use the inverse to division, so the opposite operation, which is multiplication, we can check our answer because we know 4 times 8 or 4 lots of 8 are 32, okay? Now for your start-off challenge today, you're going to be needing your 8 times tables. Now we've not done a lot of our 8s at school, we've just started to learn them. So what you might want to do is write them down in your purple books to help you before you get going on your warm-up challenge today, so you can use your answers to support your learning, okay? So we've completed our startup challenge. We're going to be moving on to our Intergear challenge, where we're going to be using all of our things that we've just done, our additions, subtractions, multiplications and divisions, all of that mathematical knowledge to help us solve these trickier word problems. So let's have a look. Write in words the next even number after 3 times 7. So, first of all, I've noticed, I'm going to get my ruler and underline the important parts. I've got to write my answer in words. It's not going to be in numbers, okay? Now, it's asking for the next even number after 3 times 7. So if I really think about that question, I need to do what 3 times 7 is first, and then go and find the even number. It's a 2-step problem. So 3 times 7, we're going to count in our threes. Are you ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. That's 3 times 7, 3 lots of 7, or 7 lots of 3. So 3 times 7 is 21. Okay, so I've done that part, but remember it's a 2-step. I need to write in words the next even number after the answer to 3 times 7. So odd numbers we know are 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9, numbers that end in those numbers. So even numbers end in 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to count up. So what's the next number after 21? 21, 22. And it ends in a 2, and we know that's an even number. So the answer must be 22. And in my neatest writing, because the questions asked me to write it in words, I'm going to use my hyphen to join the numbers together. 22 is my answer. Right, the next question then. What number is 5 less than the sum of 20 and 12? We've got another 2-step problem where we're applying some of our 4 operations, and we need to decide which operations we're going to be doing. So what number is 5 less? Now, less than, that means we're taking away, we're subtracting. So I know I've got to do a subtraction, but I'm looking for a number that's 5 less than the sum of 20 and 12. So if I'm finding the sum of 20 and 12, what am I going to do with those 2 numbers? Am I going to add them or subtract them? Oh, if you said add, well done, because we're finding the sum, finding them all together, the total of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is 20 add 12 to find the sum of those 2 numbers. I can use my place value. 2 tens add 1 10 is 3 tens. And then I've got no ones add 2 ones is 2 ones. So I've done that part. I've found the sum of 20 and 12. But now I need to find the number that is 5 less than the sum of 20 and 12. So I'm going to do 32 subtract 5. Okay, so we've applied our knowledge of our mathematical operations, addition and subtraction, to help us solve this one. So 32, let's count back 5, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27. Okay. Now remember I said there won't just be questions on our 4 operations today. There are 2 questions in your book today on fractions. And I know we were really good at this type of question last week, so keep up the good work. How many quarters are there in 4 wholes? Okay, so if I've got 4 wholes, remember I said think of it as whole pieces of cake, so the whole cake or a whole pizza. So I'm going to draw my 4 whole cakes. There's 1 whole cake, 2 whole cakes, 3 whole cakes, 4 whole cakes. Now we know a fraction is part of a whole, and he's asking me how many quarters are there in 4 wholes. Now quarters, that's 1 over 4, okay? And my denominator tells me for a quarter we're splitting each of my cakes into 4 equal parts. So that's what I'm going to do. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I've split my 4 cakes each into quarters. But it's asking me how many quarters are there in those 4 wholes. So I need to count up the individual quarters. And if we have a look, just 1 quarter, it's just that one section. It's one piece out of the 4 pieces in total. So I'm going to count them up. So we know that there's 4 there. Oh, you could just number them like that. But I know there's 4 there. And I know my 4 times table because there's 4 pieces in each of these cakes. You ready? 4, 8, 12, 16. So there's 16 quarters in 4 wholes. Okay. Right, moving on then to our tough challenge. So, you've got a question that looks like this. Fill in the missing measurement. So I've got measurements here and I've got one missing. So what we need to do is use our additional subtraction knowledge to help us see what jumps it's going up or down in. And if I have a look at these numbers, we're going down, we're counting back. So what I'm going to do with these numbers that I've got together, I'm going to see how many we're counting back in. I'm going to use my knowledge of subtraction. So let's see what jump we've done from this number to get to this number. Now I can see it's 200 all the time, so I'm going to cover my hundreds over and I'm going to count from 51 back to 45. So 51 in our head, let's see what we've jumped back in. So 51, 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45. I've subtracted 6 there. Now I'm just going to triple check it with this one. So I'm going to jump from 245 to 239. We're going to cover over those hundreds again because it's easier for me to count. 45, let's go count back to 39, sorry. So 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39. Yes, we're subtracting 6 every time. So I can use that and just subtract 6. Jump back 6 to find my missing number. So let's cover over the hundreds. 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57, 257 millilitres, because that's the measurement that we are doing it in. Oh, 50, missed off my 7 there. Okay, so make sure, like me, you go back and check your answers. Right, you've got another similar question to this one in your tough challenge, and lots of you have been really good at this one. What is the cost of 8 pens at 4p each? So I've got 8 pens at 4p each. So it's like a repeated addition. Here's 1 pen costing 4p each. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pens there costing 4p each. That's a very big repeated addition. Now remember, when we do a repeated addition, it's just like a multiplication, okay? I've got 8 lots of 4p there, so that's just like saying 8 times 4. So you could use your knowledge of the 4 times table to help you with that. And we know 8 times 4 is 32. So 32p. So you can either do your repeated addition or change it into your multiplication because that's slightly easier to work out. Now remember I said you've got some fraction questions thrown in too as a bit of a challenge today, year 3. So we've got here 1/4 of a piece of wood is 8 centimetres. Find the total length of the piece of wood. Now 1/4, we've just done quarters today, means I'm going to split my piece of wood into 4 equal parts. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 here, okay? Now the question's told me that 1/4 of a piece of wood is 8 centimetres. So this part here is 8 centimetres, okay? Now we know fractions are equal, they like to be fair. So if this quarter is 8 centimetres long, this quarter's got to be 8 centimetres, so is this one, and so has this quarter, okay? So when we're finding the total length of this piece of wood, it just means the total, we need to add up all of my measurements all together, because each quarter is worth 8 centimetres. So it's like our repeated addition again. We can do 8 centimetres as 8, add 8, add 8. Or there, I've got 4 8s, 4 lots of 8 centimetres, okay? So remember to split. You can draw out your wood or your piece of string, what your question has said, split it into quarters, and remember, fractions are fair. So if I've got 8 centimetres in this quarter is going to measure the same, so is this one, and so is this one. So make sure you're taking the time to read your questions today, year 3. And if you want a challenge, we've got our Time Yourself test at the back of your book. Good luck.